has lot many adjustments, so we will be preparing a lot of working notes for solving that particular problem. So this is the fifth sum that we are going to solve in today's class. Prepare a cash budget from July to December from the following information, and all these figures which are given, the amounts are in lakhs. So it is not only 35, it is 35 lakhs, 40 lakhs. But we will take it as these figures only, and we will write above the table amount in lakhs. So when the zeros are less, the calculation becomes a bit easier. Okay, so let's start. From July to December, we have to prepare. So we need to prepare it for 6 months. First, we write the cash receipts, which we also denote it as A. And then after a few lines, around 6 to 7 lines, we write cash payments. We denote it as B. So let's start with the problem. They've given you sales, purchases, wages and salaries, expenses, interest and sale of shares. So 20% of the sales are on cash basis and the balance on credit. So whatever sales we have, 20% of that is on cash. Cash sales means as soon as you sell, immediately you will receive money. So the very first receipt is from cash sales. So write here cash sales and into bracket 20% of sales. 20% are on cash. So the sales figure is, we are preparing it from July to August. So for July, the sales is 40 lakhs. So 20% of 40 lakhs will be 8 lakhs. Okay, then for August, it is again 40. So it will be 20% of that will be 8 lakhs. September 50 lakhs, 20% of 50 is 10. October again it is 50 lakhs, so 20% of that will be 10. November sales is 60 lakh, 20% of 60 lakh is 12. And December sales is 65 lakh, 20% of 65 lakh is 13 lakhs. So this is cash sales, the very first thing that they have mentioned in the adjustment. And the remaining are on credit. So let's see how credit sales and everything is to be worked up. 1% of the credit sales are returned by the customers. 2% of the debtors are bad debts. 50% of the good accounts receivable will be collected in the month of sale, and the rest during the next month. Now there's so many adjustments for debtors, so it's always better to make a separate working note on debtors or on accounts receivable when there are so much of adjustment. So we'll make it on the other end, or we'll make it below this only. Working note on debtors. Now when we are making the working note, usually we take all the months that are given. So it's given from June to December. I take all the months for it. So particulars And we start from June in the working note because the payments are made in the next month. So we need to know how many months data is available. So this is the details. Okay. Now just see the first line. 1% of the credit sales are returned by the customers. So before we understand what is happening, what is not, we need to know the amount of credit sales. So first what I'll do is I will find the credit sales amount. So can anybody tell me how much will be the credit sales?
80%.
80%. 20% were cash sales. That means the remaining 80% of whatever sales amount we have are the credit sales. So we have to find 80% of the sales of each month. Okay, so June the sales was 35 lakhs. 80% of 35 lakhs is 28. I have already calculated, so I'll just record it so that we save some time. So I'm taking 80%. Remember this, 80% of the sales value is credit sales because 20% was cash sales. So we know the credit sales now. Now let's see next what they're telling. 1% of the credit sales are returned by the customers. What do you mean by returned by the customers? When you get goods back, we call it what? Sales return. Correct? So 1% of the goods are returned back. So what should I do of sales return? Should I less it from credit sales or should I add it to credit sales? Remember trading account, what we used to do?
I'm less.
From sales, we should reduce sales return, less or add? Less, because those goods are returned back. When they are returned back, you cannot treat them as sales. We have to treat them as returns. They're coming back to us. So we should remove it from sales. So here you write less sales return. And how much are returned? They're given in the question. Just see carefully, read the question. 1% of the credit sales are returned. So 1% of what are returned? Credit sales. So we have not to take total sales. Remember here, this is the total sales. It includes cash as well as credit. We are not bothered about the total sales. We are bothered only about the credit sales because they are saying 1% of the credit sales are returned. So we will write here 1% of credit sales. Now credit sales, I have written in the above column. If you see, for June the credit sales were 28. So I have to find 1% of 28, which will be 0.28. How you find 1%? 28 into 1 by 100. Okay, 1% of 32 is 0.32. Same way, 1% of 32, 0.32, 0.40. We are not taking zeros, so we are getting it in decimals. If I would have taken it as 48 lakh, then 1% of 48 lakh would have been 48,000. Because we removed those zeros of lakhs, the question they have not taken. So that's why we are getting it in decimals. Okay. So we have reduced the sales return. The first part is done. 1% of credit sales are returned by the customers. Next, 2% of the debtors are bad. So now what we will do, after you reduce the credit sales, they're telling that 2% of whatever you have sold, they are not going to pay. So who is not going to pay? The customer who has still not paid. Cash sales, so they've already paid. So only credit sales, which we have to still receive, 2% of that I will not receive because the customers will become bad. So we will call them bad debts. They may go insolvent, they may not have money, hundreds of issues, and they may not make the payment. So what we do of bad debts? We
Less.
less it. Yes, because that money also we are not going to receive. So whatever is your credit sales, 2% of that people will not pay. So 2% of 28 you have to do now. So you will get 0.56. Are you all getting the logic?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then 0.64. I am finding 2% of the credit sales. So these many people are not going to pay, and these many people have returned the goods. So that much amount I'm not going to receive. Okay. So now we'll see what's the next point. Till here we are done. 50% of the good accounts receivable will be collected in the month of sale and the rest during the next month. So once I remove from the credit sales, once I remove sales return and bad debts or bad credit sales, what remains is good accounts receivable. So what I have to do is I have to minus these two. I've written here clearly, right? Less. So we have to minus these two from credit sales to get the good accounts receivable. So from 28, I have to minus 0.28 and 0.56. So you will get as 27.16. Are you getting the logic? If you want, you can write.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Credit. I'll write in bracket how we are getting it. CR credit sales minus sales return minus bad debts. When I do this, I'll get my good sales. Okay, so good accounts receivable is credit sales minus sales return minus bad debts. So I'm minusing these two columns from 32 rupees. So you will get 31.04. So these are your good accounts receivable. That means these are the people who will pay. Now how they will pay, that is what we have to understand. So 50% of good accounts receivable will be collected in the month of sale and the rest during the next month. So that means half we will receive now and half we will receive in the next month. So we'll write it here. You write here collection of accounts receivable 50% current month and 50% next month. Okay, now how much is the good accounts receivable? 27.16 for June. So of that 27.16, 50% I'm
And now,
receiving in June only. Okay, so how much you get? 13.58, and the remaining 50% in the next month. That means in July I will receive 13.58. Any doubts in this?
ma'am, now should we write previous month or next month?
It's better to write next month so that you're not confused. In the question also they have mentioned next month. Because when we do
Okay,
for
ma'am.
wages, no, they don't mention next month, previous month. They just say it is paid in a lag of 15 days or half month. So there we can write whatever is better for our understanding. But here they've told next month, so it's better we write next month. But still, if you are confused, you can write previous month also. That will not matter. What matters is the final answer that you get, the amount. Okay. Now again for July, 31.04, 50% I will receive in this month only. So 15.52 in this month only. If you want me to write previous month, let me know. I will write it, not a problem. But I don't want you to get confused. Should I write previous month?
No, ma'am.
It's okay, no?
No, ma'am. No,
Okay.
it's okay.
Now, August 31.04 is the sales. 50%, 15.52 in August only, and remaining 15.52 in the month of September. Then for September, it is 38.8. 50% of 38.8 is 19.4. 19.4 in September only, and remaining 19.4 in October. October, the sales are 38.8. Half, 50% is 19.4 in October, and remaining 19.4 in November. November's 46.56 sales, half is 23.28 in November, and the remaining half 23.28 in December. And December sales 50.44, half of it 25.22 in December, and remaining half in January. So for Jan, we are not preparing and we don't have the data, so we'll not take it further. So these are your good accounts receivable, how we are going to collect them. Now what we are going to do is we are going to write total collection from accounts receivable. Okay, and this is important now. So how do you find the total? We are going to add this 50% of current month, 50% next month, whatever value we have, we are going to add it. So sure, it will be 13.58. Are you getting it? What I'm adding?
Yes, ma'am.
We're just finding the total by adding what we are receiving. So in the month of September, I received 50% from September only, and the remaining 50% is of August, which has come. For August, September was next month. So August 50% I am adding. So these are the total accounts receivable, which we will be taking in the cash budget. So cash budget here in the receipt side, you write collection from accounts receivable and we are preparing budget from July. So we are taking the amounts only from July. For July, it is 29.1 until December, 48.5 was for December. So we take it here. So just do paste special ones. So this is the collection from accounts receivable, which we got it in the working note. Any doubts with this?
No,
Here
ma'am.
you can write working note 1. Because in exam, directly if you show the answer, they may not understand how you have got it. So there is a working note below which they will check, and then through that, this is what you have got will be the logic. Okay. So we finished with the entire second point, that is we are done with how we are going to collect money from debtors. Now let's go to the third point. The time lag in payment of miscellaneous expenses and purchases is 1 month. Wages and salaries are paid fortnightly. Fortnightly means 15 days. Okay. So let's start. First, miscellaneous expenses and purchases, it is 1 month. So we are going to pay miscellaneous expenses. We'll write here into bracket 1 month time lag. So going to pay 1 month later. That means whatever you have in June, you will pay it in July. July will be paid in August. August will be paid in September. September will be paid in October. October in November, and November in December, because it is 1 month lag. Same will happen with purchases, because I said miscellaneous expenses and purchases. So purchases of June in July, July in August, August in September, September in October, October in November, and November in December. So 1 month late we are paying. So 1 month time lag we will have to show. Fine, so we'll record it. So June we had 5 rupees which will be paid in July. So 5. July we had 6 which will be paid in August. August was 6, 6, 7 and 7. So this is how the payment will happen of miscellaneous expenses. Then purchases. Again 1 month time lag they have said. So similar way we will take June purchases 14, we will pay it in July. So 14, July it was 16, it will be paid in August. Okay, August it was 17, which will be paid in September. September was 20, paid in October. October was 20, paid in November. And November was 25, which was paid in December. So this was about miscellaneous expenses and purchases. The next they have told about wages and salaries, which is to be paid fortnightly, which is 15 days gap. So wages and salary, you can write into bracket 15 days, or you can also write it as half month. Okay, so like told previously, what we will do is we will mention here half current month and half previous month. So July wages and salaries are 14. Half of that we have to pay. So half of 14 is 7 in July, and the remaining 7 will go in August. Now previous month of July is June. So June their wages and salaries were 12. Half of June will be paid in July. So 6 will be here in the previous month column. Okay, then August it is 14. So 7, half of it in August and the remaining half in the next month. Then September it is 18. September half, that is 9 in September and 9 in October. October also it is 18. So 9 in October and 9 in November. November month it is 20. So 10, half of it in current month and remaining 10 in December. And December it is 22, so 11, half of it in December and the remaining 11 in January, but we are not preparing for January, so I'm not showing you the recording of that. So that's done. So we are done with the time lag of payment. Then the company keeps a minimum cash balance of rupees 5 lakh. So this is the target, the minimum. In the previous sum, if you remember, they had given 35,000. Here it is 5 lakh. Cash in excess of rupees 7 lakh is invested in government securities in multiples of 1 lakh. Shortfall in the minimum cash balance are to be adjusted by borrowing from the bank. Ignore interest received and paid on loan and investment made. So these last 3 points are when we get the closing balance. So if your closing balance is 5 lakh, you need not do anything. But if it is more than 5 lakh, that means if it is more than 7 lakh, which is given here, second point, you can invest. And if it is less than 5 lakh, you can borrow. So when you borrow or when you invest, you either receive interest or you pay interest. In this question, they are asking you to ignore the interest part of it, only do the borrowing and investment part of it. So we will not take the interest calculation as such because the interest rate also is not given. Now this we'll do when we are finding the closing balance. As of now, first we need to check the table. Have we taken everything? Sales we have recorded, purchases, wages, expenses we have recorded. Now interest received, this we have not recorded, which we have to take. Remember, don't get confused with this interest and the last point which is given here. This ignore interest received and paid is for the loan or the investment that you will make after finding the surplus or deficit. So when you get the closing balance at that time, if you get any interest, you need to ignore it. But in the question, what interest is given in the table, that we have already received, which we have to take. So we have received it in on our previous investments. If you are making new investment, you need to ignore. Okay. Any doubts with this?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So we'll take this interest receipt. It is in June month, September and December, 2 lakh each month. June we are not preparing, but September, December we have. So when you receive, we write it on the receipt side. So interest receipt. June we don't have, September 2 lakhs and December 2 lakhs we can take. Then sale of shares. What will happen when you sell shares? You will receive money or you will pay money.
Receive money.
Receive.
Yes, so when you sell, you receive money. So it will go under receipt side, sale of shares. And in which month it is being sold? It is for the month of August, 20 lakh rupees. So in the month of August, you take 20 lakh as sale of share. So we have taken all the details from the entire table. Now what we will do is we will find the total of receipts, that is total of A equal to sum So this is total receipts. Now I'll find the total payments, that is total of B. So we have found the total of receipts and payments. Now to find the surplus or deficit, we need to do receipt minus payment, that is A minus B. So receipt 37.1 minus payment 32, you get a surplus of 5.1. Again receipt 59.04 minus payment of 36, you get a surplus of 23.04. 46.92 is the receipt minus 39 is the payment, you get a surplus of 7.92. 48.8 is receipt, 44 is payment, a surplus of 4.8, 54.68 receipt minus 46 payment, surplus of 8.68. Then you have 63.5 receipt minus 53 payment, you get a surplus of 10.5. Now, once you have the surplus or deficit, the next thing that we do is add opening balance. Okay, then after you add, now we will write it as indicating closing balance. We are not writing it as closing balance because this is what we have got, but this shouldn't be the closing balance. There are adjustments, right? They have told what to do with the closing balance. There should be minimum 5 lakh, anything in excess of 7 lakh should be invested, anything which is a shortfall should be borrowed. So that means the company is not interested in what closing balance we are getting, but they want you to make adjustments to this closing balance and see to it that you have at least 5 lakh rupees at the end of the month. Okay, so what we will do, if the closing balance is not 5 lakh, what we have to do, we need to borrow. Now, can anybody tell me, when I borrow money, cash comes in or goes out?
Comes in.
Comes in.
Comes
So
in.
we have to comes in. So we have to add it to the closing balance because whenever I borrow, money is coming in, it is adding to my closing balance. So I will write here, add borrowings. Okay. And if we invest money, what happens?
Goes
Cash
out.
comes in or goes out?
Goes out.
Goes out. So we have to less, if we are investing anything, we have to less it from our closing balance because that money that money is going out. Did you understand this logic? Add borrowings, less investment. Yes or
Yes,
no?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So after doing that, we will get the actual closing balance. Okay. They have told to ignore interest. So that's why I have not taken it here. If we borrow, we have to pay interest. So I would have done less interest. If we invest, we will receive interest. So I would have done add interest for investment case. But they have asked us to ignore interest. They have not given the interest percentage. So we will only focus on the borrowing and investment. Now, let's start what they've told first. The company keeps a minimum cash balance of rupees 5 lakh. We have to search for opening cash balance if they have mentioned anywhere. They've told to prepare a cash budget. And yes, so nowhere clearly they have mentioned what is the opening cash balance. Now, can anybody tell me what should be the opening cash balance? If they've not given, it should be 5 lakh because
5 lakh.
yes, 5 lakh because the company has to maintain a minimum cash balance of 5 lakh. That means in the month of July, the opening balance would be 5 lakh. June, they might have maintained 5 lakh. It is not possible that they can have anything below 5 lakh. When nothing is given, I am assuming that the company has maintained a full 5 lakh minimum balance and that is carried forward. If they have not maintained, they will borrow and maintain. So 5 lakh is the minimum cash balance, which is also the opening balance in case of the month of July. Now, to the surplus or deficit, we add opening balance to get the indicating closing balance. So 5.1 plus 5, how much is the indicating closing balance? 10.1 lakhs. That means it is 10 lakh 10,000. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Any doubts
No,
till
ma'am.
here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, the next step you have to concentrate. See what is the next thing given. Cash in excess of rupees 7 lakh is invested in government securities in multiples of rupees 1 lakh. And if there is shortfall, then you need to adjust it by borrowings. How much should be our minimum balance? It should be 5 lakh. Okay. And how much is our balance in the problem? 10.1 means 10 lakh 10,000. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have much higher amount than the minimum. So should we borrow?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. So the borrowings will be 0 or it will be nil. I am not going to borrow anything. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me,
Yes,
should
ma'am.
we invest?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, because they've clearly told anything above 7 lakh rupees, anything in excess of 7 lakh you invest. So we have 10 lakh, which is much higher than 7 lakh. So there is excess, we need to invest. Now, one more important point that you have to keep in mind. Invest in government securities in the multiples of rupees 1 lakh. So multiples of rupees 1 lakh means, can anybody tell me? Okay, what is multiples of 1 lakh? Anything that you multiply with 1 lakh. 5 into 1 lakh is how much?
5 lakhs.
10
5
lakh.
lakh. 10 into 1 lakh is
10 lakhs.
10
10
lakh.
lakhs. Any number you multiply with 1 lakh, you will get it in lakhs. Will you get 5 into 1 lakh as 5 lakh 50,000?
No, ma'am.
No. So what they are trying to say is you cannot invest in thousands, hundreds, tens. Are you getting it? You cannot invest 5 lakh 1 rupee. You cannot invest 5 lakh 10 rupees. You cannot invest 5 lakh 100 rupees. You cannot invest 5 lakh 10,000 rupees. So ones, tens and thousands you cannot invest. You have to invest only in lakhs. So either you invest 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh, 5 lakh or any number in lakhs. Are you getting the logic?
Yes, ma'am.
So from 10.1 lakh, 10.1 lakh is nothing but 10 lakh 10,000. So from 10 lakh 10,000, anything above 7 lakh we have to invest. So if I do 10.1 minus 7, okay, so from if I do 10.1 minus 7, how much do I get?
3.1.
3.1.
3.1. I cannot invest 3.1 because it is 3 lakh 10,000 and I cannot invest in thousands. I have to invest only in lakhs. So how much should I invest?
3
3
lakhs.
lakhs.
3
3
lakhs.
lakh.
So you either invest 3 lakh or you invest 4 lakh. Nothing in between 3 and 4. So no 1 rupee, 10 rupee, 100 rupee, thousands. Is that fine? So we will invest 3 lakhs. Are you all with me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
closing balance is 10 lakh 10,000. From that I have borrowed nothing. So add 0 and I have invested 3 lakhs. So less 3 lakh. So what should be the actual closing balance?
7.1.
10.1.
7.1 lakh. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody having doubts?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So what we'll do now, this closing balance of 7.1 will become opening balance for the month of August. Okay, concentrate all of you. I'm not taking this indicating closing balance anywhere. I want this closing balance 7.1 to become the opening balance for next year. Okay, now we'll find the indicating closing balance. So what we do, we add the surplus and the closing balance to get the, and the opening balance to get the indicating closing balance. Yes. So now my closing balance for the month of August is 30 lakh 14,000. Correct?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it is much higher than how much? How much should be? It should be 5 lakh minimum. It is higher than 5 lakh, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
need not borrow. Borrowing will be 0 because the money that I have is more than 5 lakh, which is the minimum requirement. But can I invest?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have to invest anything above 7 lakh. So that means till 7 lakh you cannot invest. So from 30.14, if I minus 7 lakh, so how much can I invest?
23.
3 lakhs.
30
23.14.
minus 7. 23.14
Yes.
we get. but I cannot invest in thousands. So 23.14 I can't invest. I can invest only 23. Okay. So from 30.14, borrowings are 0. So nothing will get added. I am investing 23. So minus 23. How much will be my closing balance?
7.14.
7.14. This will become opening balance for September. Again, indicating closing balance, you have to do opening plus surplus or deficit. So you get 15.06. Again, it is more than 5 lakh, which was our minimum requirement. So I need not borrow anything, but it is more than 7 lakh also. Anything above 7 lakh I can invest. So how much I can invest? 15.60, sorry, 15.06. From this, I have to keep 7. So 15.06 minus 7 if I do, I'll get 8.06. I cannot invest 0.06. I have to invest whole number, that is 8 lakh, because the investment should be in lakhs. So I'll invest 8 lakh. So 15.06 minus 8, which is my investment. Remaining will be 7.06. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
This 7.06 will become opening balance for the month of October. Now we'll see the indicating closing balance for October. Opening balance plus surplus will give you the indicating closing balance. It is 11.86 lakhs. So that means 11,86,000. From, should we borrow?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No, because we have money above 5 lakhs. So if it is less than 5 lakh, we will borrow. Now from this 11.86, I have to keep 7 lakhs. So minus 7. Remaining I can invest. So how much I can invest? 4.86. But I will invest only 4 lakh because I cannot invest in thousands. I cannot invest 4,86,000. The condition is the investment should be only in lakhs, in the multiples of lakhs. So I will invest 4. So from 11.86 minus 4, which I have invested. So how much you will get? 7.86.
86.
This will be opening balance for November. So we'll see the indicating closing balance for November. Surplus plus opening balance, it comes to 16.54. Again, I have more than 5 lakhs, so I will not borrow, but I can invest. So from 16.54, I need to keep 7 lakh. So how much I can invest? 9.54. Now I cannot invest 9,54,000. I should invest only in lakhs. Therefore, I invest only 9 lakh. So remaining 16,54,000 minus 9 lakh. If I do, I'll get 7,54,000. That is 7.54. This becomes the opening balance for December. So indicating closing balance for December will be 18.04. Again, it is much higher than for 5 lakhs. So I will not borrow. And from 18.04, I have to keep 7 lakhs. So minus 7. And the remaining, I can invest. So I can invest 11.04. 11.04 means 11 lakh 4,000. I cannot invest in 1,000. So I will invest only 11 lakh. So remaining will be 7.04. Any doubts, anybody in this problem?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Especially this last part is very, very important because it is technical and it is not the usual thing that I have done earlier. So I hope you have understood the last part well. Okay. Now in this sum there was no interest, so it went simple. And if you see, there was no borrowings also. Only investments were there. We have some more sums that we will take in the upcoming classes. Then you will also have interest. You will have borrowings, and then you will have repayment also. Because when you borrow, whatever extra money remains, you try to repay. So we will do such kind of sums also in the upcoming classes. for today, this is enough. You want me to do one more sum or enough?
Enough, ma'am.
Ma'am, next class.
So